Hello, wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Doña, and I'm here to shed some light on mental and emotional health topics. My content is aimed specifically at Black women, but of course, everyone who feels inclined can listen, can watch, can appreciate. If you find that you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to subscribe. It's a great free way to support my channel. Share this video with anyone else who you think might be interested or learn something or etc. And give this video a thumbs up like so that YouTube shows it to more people. Today, I just wanted to have a chat about just being a mom and some of the things that come along with that and some of the possible solutions to easing up just a little bit of that struggle. Also, you may have noticed that I always have this little Snoopy behind me. I actually crocheted this. I crocheted this little Snoopy dog, and you can buy it if you want. I can totally ship it to you if you're interested in buying a Snoopy or a different crocheted critter. Let me know. I also have some different colored bees that I've crocheted. And this actually segues really beautifully into the first thing that I think we as moms need to do, and that's to find something creative to do. I know that depending on the ages of your children, depending on your lifestyle, depending on your schedule, depending on the activities that your kids are in, finding time to do things for yourself it can feel impossible. So, in addition to choosing something that you want to do, whether it's crocheting or learning to crochet, or sewing or learning to sew, or woodworking or learning to woodwork, or working on your car or learning how to work on your car, whatever it is, gardening, um, cement work, I don't know, literally anything. I want to encourage you to, first of all, remind yourself that you can and take the time first to just do some research. If you're going to be on social media, you might as well start looking into things that pique your curiosity and choose to focus yourself there. Hop on YouTube, find some really cool creator or creators or videos, that are aimed at people who want to learn something new or, start something new, and just let yourself kind of fall into that. Remind yourself that the things that you do for yourself are important. The time that you schedule to do things for yourself is extremely important, and something that I've been chatting about and also reminding myself very often is that it's really, really important for me to say the things, or it's really important for me to do the things that I say I'm going to do, especially when it comes to doing things for myself. It is absolutely important for me to do the things that I say I'm going to do for my children, but I have to remember that if I am depleted, they're going to be depleted too. There's no way that I can show up as my best self for them if I'm not showing up as my best self for me. And it's okay to let them know when I'm not feeling my best self. It's okay. It's okay to tell them that I'm feeling a little sad or that I'm moving a little slowly, not so that they now make it their responsibility to do something. The conversation will never be, "Mommy is feeling a little sad. What can you do to cheer mommy up?" No. Mommy will always remind you as in her children, that it's mommy's responsibility to take care of mommy. It's always going to be mommy's responsibility to take care of mommy. Mommy might say, "Hey, mommy's feeling really sad. Mommy's having a tough day. Mommy's feeling stressed. Mommy's body is a little achy. So, maybe you're going to spend a couple hours with grandma or auntie or Theo or, whoever, dad, whoever, because mommy is feeling this way." Or maybe mommy just wants to do a few things by herself. Mommy's really excited to do this and she really wants to learn it. So you're going to spend a little time with so and so, and I really, really hope that each of us has someone in our lives that we trust enough for our kids to spend time with so that we can tend to ourselves. Before we were ever mothers, we were us. Before you were ever a mother, you were you, and you are still you. And coming from someone who knows exactly how easy it is to just slip into the role of being a mother, being a wife, being a partner, being a, whatever your job title is, and not being yourself, it's easy. I'm sorry, it's easy to just lean into all of those roles, and sometimes it takes a moment. It takes a moment to recognize, that you haven't been yourself. You haven't done the things that you and you alone love to do. It's awesome that, you can share things with the people around you. What are the things that you like to do just because you like to do it? Maybe you like to go see movies alone. Maybe you like to eat dinner alone, or, go out to a meal by yourself where you can just enjoy the restaurant and enjoy the atmosphere and enjoy the ambiance and enjoy the food without someone else not eating theirs, or someone asking to have a bite of yours, or whatever it is. So first and foremost, mama, remember that before you were any of those things, you were you, and you still are you. Please don't forget that. What has worked for me in my household is setting an electronics curfew. And I might even make it a little bit earlier. It's already from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And it's not too bad because around 7 is usually when we're, winding down, getting ready for baths and things like that. And in the morning, especially this summer, we've been up before 7. So I use that time to read. I use that time to crochet because I've told myself that this is the time that I want to do something other than looking at a screen or using a screen. It kind of holds me accountable to do something different. It kind of frees me up mentally to say, what can I do right now? I could color. I have coloring books that people have gotten me. I have colored pencils. I have acrylic markers. We have regular markers here at the house, just like washable Crayola markers. And that's something that me and the boys can actually do together. We can play Uno. My older son loves to play Uno. And my almost 4-year-old, he knows how to play. He does get a little distracted and he shows us all of his cards, but he understands the concept of, if there's a blue 4, I can put down a blue card, or I can put down a number 4. He can at least do that. So that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, kind of take a moment to think about your day and think about where you can not find, where you can create some slowness, or some individual time. Um, Definitely depending on your baby's ages, but everybody deserves independent time. Every kid deserves time to, just do the things that they want to do without their siblings bothering them or without their family bothering them. Everyone deserves that time. Sometimes, depending on their age, they might not want to, and they might feel like my almost 4-year-old, that someone needs to be playing with them at all times. Otherwise, what are they going to do? But then I watch him, do things on his own. um, Something else to kind of encourage, stepping away from screens and doing things together is to cook together, especially something simple like pizza, where, you can either make the dough or you can buy the dough, and then, people can, or not people, but, everyone in the family can help with the toppings and things like that. Um, yeah. Something else that came up as far as just me thinking about a way to minimize somewhat some of the stress and constant anticipation of being in mom mode, when you're with your children, especially out and about and running errands, is to give your kiddos a job. It was really, really helpful to allow my older son to be um to be his grown-up self when we were at the grocery store, or at Walmart actually, a couple weeks ago, and he was helping to push the cart. And I tried to kind of encourage him to, make some decisions and things like that. So that was kind of cool. And I can have my 4-year-old, grab things off the shelf for me. I can have him read the list with me. I can have him, read the aisle numbers with me and things like that. It, took a little bit more time, but I was less stressed about anticipating their needs because they were, participating in the shopping experience with me. So, a little random side note, but definitely helpful. Um, and then, of course, it can really never be said too often, but reach out to your mom friends, ask them to come over, bring their kids, and then the kids can just be children together. And at least you'll have another adult around you, whether you have a partner or not. There's definitely a different experience. Um, and I can only assume this because I've only been a mom, I've never been a dad. But it's a whole lot easier for me to connect and relax when I'm around other moms, with my kids around. It just gives me like a little bit of community and kind of like camaraderie. If my kid does something silly, I can lock eyes with her and say, "Did you see that? I know you saw that," and then we can laugh about it. And that laughter just adds some lightness to the air instead of that constant, "Oh no, there's a problem I have to solve. Oh no, they fell. Are they okay?" And things like that. I can, kind of observe from afar and say, "All right, let me inspect the situation. Okay, everything still looks like it's okay." And I don't feel as though I immediately have to jump into action and do something different. It definitely allows me to relax my shoulders a little bit. So if you haven't done so already, hop on Facebook and see if there is a local group of moms. And I'm pretty comfortable with just inviting people over to my house. I know that you can't do that with everybody, but I'm a pretty good judge of character. I mean, going out to the park or something is always an option too, just so you can kind of catch a vibe with someone, maybe saying, "Hey, let's go to grab a coffee." And then, we can take our kids to this park or something. But step out of your comfort zone a little bit and make some new connections so that you can build the community back up. And it's okay if you're the person reaching out, the first couple times. It's okay. If that's something that you're not comfortable with, speak up and say, "Hey, I would really love if, you could plan our next outing, or if you could do blah, or, whatever it is." But don't assume that that person, even as a friend, even as a woman, knows how you want to communicate, or that, you're not okay with planning everything every time. Just speak up, practice your communication skills. There's no way that that person can know unless you say something. Being a mom is hard. Being a parent is hard. Period. Again, I can only speak from the lens of being a mom because I am a mom, but I know for a fact that being a parent overall is just, it's a lot. It's a lot of work and strain and thoughts and planning and problem solving and trying to anticipate needs for now and tomorrow and the future, but then also trying not to do too much. And it's so easy to just let yourself slip through the cracks. So, if there's one thing that you can take away from this video, it's, please remind yourself that before you were anything at all, before you were a partner, before you were a wife, before you were a mother, you were you. You were, a daughter first, of course, but you were you before you had these other roles and responsibilities, before you were an employee or a business owner or any of those things. You were you, and you deserve to still have time for yourself. So again, what works for me is that electronics curfew. As we kind of transition back into back to school time, I know that I'm going to continue waking up before my kids. I'll wake up at 5 o'clock and just enjoy my morning. Take a shower, take my time, tend to my hair if I want to, read, make sure my lunch is all in order. Sometimes I even, meal prep in the morning so that, or not so that, but if I didn't get to do it the weekend before. And it's really adorable when people say, "Oh my gosh, you're so healthy because you make your meals every week." No, that's not why I do it. I absolutely will meal prep things that are delicious that I want to eat. It just so happens that it's in a giant casserole dish or it's in a giant pot. But I'm not thinking about, oh, what's going to be the most, the healthiest thing for me. I love vegetables, so my meal preps are going to have vegetables. I make my meals on Saturdays or on Sundays or Mondays for the whole week when I go to work because I don't want another decision to make. I don't want every single day during the week when it comes to lunchtime, I'm trying to decide what I'm going to eat. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that for dinner during the week. I don't want to do that for lunch during the week. That's my why for meal prepping. It could be that that's a lasagna for you. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a homemade lasagna. Maybe I need to learn how to make lasagna because a lasagna would be bomb. Like, oh my gosh, a lasagna would be bomb. Oh, anyways, I'm a little hungry right now. um, but yeah, that's my why behind meal prepping and the services that you can pay for meal prepping. Um, those are an option too. Some of those have actually, I think all of them will offer you different meals for each day. That's just not conducive for me and my lifestyle because I find the time to cook my meals for the week. And, every once in a while, I'll be a little bit short and only have meals for 4 days and I'll have to, eat out one day or something like that or, order DoorDash or whatever. But 4 out of the 5 days is still pretty good. So if that's something that weighs on you a lot, every single day, what are we going to eat for dinner? What are we going to eat for dinner? What are we going to eat for dinner? How can you solve that problem? Maybe it's a pizza week where you just get a bunch of pizza ingredients and like some what did we use? We used naan bread. Naan bread is perfect for little personal pizzas and like there's your dinner for the whole week. Everyone can choose a different ingredient. You just pop them on a cookie sheet and some parchment paper and then boom, everyone's got pizza. I know my kids would just want cheese. Who cares? That's dinner for the week, So, or like a taco week, same thing. You got your taco shells, you got your ground beef or whatever you're gonna put inside, ground chicken, whatever, and you have your toppings. And so, every day maybe all you're doing is just warming up the meat and taking out the toppings in the containers. But again, take a moment to reflect on your week and think about what are the areas where you spend the most time. Do you want to spend the most time there? Maybe the areas that you spend the most time are playing with your kids. If that's something you want to do, beautiful. If one of the areas that you spend the most time is just, cooking every single day, if that's not something that you want to continue doing, what solutions can you find for that? The solutions are everywhere. But sometimes we get so stuck in just that repetitive motion that we think, not that we think, we don't take the time to pause and say, I might be able to do this a little bit better. There might be a way to do this or change this process that works better. Ooh, that works better for me and my family and my children and whatever. And in the midst of that, think about when you can have time for yourself. Think about when you can create appointments with yourself for yourself. For me, it's waking up early. That works so much better for me than trying to stay up late. Staying up late is not my forte. I am definitely an early bird versus a night owl. Maybe you're the opposite. Whatever you need. Maybe it's during your lunch break at work. Maybe you have a flexible job where you can take an extra 30 minutes at lunch and then stay an extra 30 minutes after, you know? And you take that time to, eat your lunch and tend to yourself. Go to your car and meditate, sing to yourself, journal, draw, whatever. But please, I challenge you to schedule some dates, a date or an appointment, or both, with yourself, with you, for you, just for you, only for you. Not something that you can invite someone else to. You can do that as well, but there should definitely be times during the week where you do things just for you because you deserve it. And it might feel a little uncomfortable at first. There might be some tinge of selfishness. There might be some tinge of, I don't deserve this. It's okay. You do. You do. And that feeling will pass. Get curious about it. Ask yourself, where did this come from? When did this start? Is it something I really believe, or is it because I feel like taking time for myself is taking away time from someone else, you know? Yeah, you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. Before you wore any of those hats and before you had any of those roles, you were you. You deserve to tend to you. Have a beautiful day or night or week or weekend or month. I thank you so much for watching and listening. And please, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up like so the algorithm shows it to more people. And I'll see you next time. Bye.